Hello there world, this is Draken, and I'm going to be talking about the Holy Purin raid. I will switch over to my second monitor to capture. Right now it's on the Diablos raid, which we just had and we saw was probably the easiest raid we've had yet, which is not bad. It let a lot of people get the one-shot auto. Some people would probably still be struggling with it because you might not have the right units. With the Holy Flan, you may struggle if you don't have your account very high leveled and if you're kind of a newer player. However, don't give up hope on it, because with this Flan, it's still fully possible to go through and kill him, and we're actually going to minimize this. Put it over here, and we'll do the same to this one. There we go. We'll kind of put them side by side so we could see the stats of both the Flan and the Diablo. And you can look here. I don't have a right to left scroll on this one. Let's just use my D-pad. There we go. This one does have the scroll pad over. So the stats aren't that different. Same amount of TV, same amount of max hit point, same amount of AP. The attack, the Flan has a little bit more attack, and he has a lot less magic. What that tells you is it's going to be an attack-based, raid boss. So building some defense isn't a bad strategy. Now, Diablos was weak to physical, strong against magic. The Flan has 0 and 0 for defense and spirit, and you can debuff his defense and spirit and slash resist and any other of his resistance. That's huge to know. That means basically you could build a team of any damage type, and as long as you have those debuffs, you can still take him on and take him down. So it is a very viable raid to get to 100 by yourself with any of your team comps that you want to do, that you have built up, that you have perfect. Say you have a perfect 4 ice team of Purin, Gilgamesh, Laswell, because Laswell works great in an ice comp. He is fucking like one of the top picks for an ice team because of his ice resistance attack down. And say you threw in a Victora, because you can steal time on this guy. You cannot slow him, but you can CT down him, which again is huge for building combos and racking up that damage against this boss. This shouldn't be a hard raid if you have a good 4 team. And you could even run a pure dark team, a pure light team, and just wreck. And there is a lot of strong light cards and dark cards right now, as well as water cards. It might be a lot harder to run a pure water team against a electric element raid. I would not suggest relying on that as your end-all be-all for this raid. But you could do a full wind team, a full ice team, a full fire team, if you have the fire units. I don't think there's that many. But you could do those, and they will all work very well. However, of course, because it is minus 20% resistant to earth and minus 15% resistant to fisting, a full fisting team will be doing a lot of damage. But honestly, because of how much the vision cards favor dark and light and water right now, they do not favor earth. Like, they really don't. You'll probably just be tying for damage for a strong, dark or light team. Like, you'll probably tie for damage. And looking at the Diablos raid here, he had 25% magic resist, and Diablo has 25% slash resist. But slash resist isn't that hard to get through. If you have, say, the Exorcist card, which I don't, so I'm not going to be building a slash team, that would help you massively in getting through his slash resistance. And he has a small amount of 10% piercing resist, 10% missile resist. Um, piercing resist, that's so easy to come by too. So you won't have any trouble with that. Missile resist is a little bit harder to get through, but it's only 10% damage reduction. That's not a lot. That's not going to stop much, especially on a chain. With 2 gunners that say use a quad shot or a quick shot, you're at a 7 or 8 chain already. And then you use a dual trigger or a barrier break arrow or something like that, you're doing max damage. That'll be very easy to build a full missile team. I may consider doing that if my strike team does not work. I'll switch over to my blue stacks. Actually, no, I'm on Samsung Dex right now, so I don't crash. But this is the team I'm going to be running. Now, each one of these units is going to have a 120 before this raid comes. How do I know that the winter units are going to be getting their 120 before this raid? I'm not going to guarantee it. It's not 100%. However, if you see any of the Holy Purin raid videos, you will notice that there are level 120 Christmas units. And that's because this unit came out around Christmas, which is the time that the JP got their 120, Christmas units. So we'll most likely in the next week or two see our Christmas units get their 120 EX. And then I'm assuming that after that we'll be getting the Purin raid a week or two after that. So we'll have some time to build up these units, which I'm really looking forward to my winter units both getting their EX. I really love them and I want to use them more. And you might be wondering why I have 2B and Mont in here, because you might not realize Mont does have one ability. I'm going to switch his job to High Lord, because it's Body Slam. That's the ability that you're going to want to level up with him. It's his only, punching ability. There are plenty of units out there that just have one punch skills, such as clerics do have a staff attack that lowers agility, I believe, and prolonged staff or pronged staff, I believe it is. That ability is also considered a blunt force trauma and will count as a fisting ability. And it's very weird when you see some units like that. Can I switch to specific attack type and not go with attack type resistances? But I know some units like Agrius has the blunt force abilities and a lot of others do. Anybody who has Body Slam is a viable option to throw into a blunt force team. I'm going to be throwing 2B in there because she has Pugilist. Pugilist is one of the bread and butters of the fisting world right now, especially if you go with Flurry Enchantment and Flurry Counter, because Flurry Counter is a 2-hit counter attack, and with Flurry Enhancement, I believe the effect is up to 50% chance that they will counter when they're hit. Now I can put that on most of my units. Oh, she only has Fist counter. She does not have Pugilist. So she does not have that, but Venera does. So 2 of my units will for sure have the Flurry counter, and I will definitely put that on them. I'm using her possibly in class matches, so I'll still have Magic Guard on for now. And you're gonna want to make sure you have that and the green ability equipped, the Flurry Enhancement. You want both of those equipped on those units, because if they both get hit and they both counter, that's starting your turn off with a 4-hit combo already, and that means pretty much every attack you do after that will probably be hitting for max damage. So that is going to be massive. And if you can throw someone else in who has a Pugilist ability, you're golden. In fact, let's take a look. I can sort by job type, I'm pretty sure. Okay, I can't here. I can on War of the Visions Calc though. So we can just go to War of the Visions Calc. I'll switch this over to that. We'll take a look at some of the best units to use for this. If you're going with a fisting comp, you have Zyza and Winter Venera for sure. Those two are the best out of the best. And even if you only have those two and you're kind of a newer player, if you at least have those two, getting to level 100 with this raid should be a cinch. You can duel up with a friend or, you know, just random people and just put in the description duo, you know, Zyza, Venera, and you'll match up with people who are doing the same strategy as you, and you can easily get to 100 with that strategy. Let's hop over the second monitor. We can close this. This is the... Wait, actually first, we'll just minimize that for now. We'll maximize this one. More of the visions kill up. We'll jump over the units, and we can look at the jobs. So there's a lot of jobs to pick from, but Pugilist is down here. Monk, Iron Fist is a good one, but it does not have the Pugilist abilities, which is what you really want. So 2 characters. Only main jobs? No, we want sub jobs as well. So main jobs. Sub jobs. Orin can also be a Pugilist. Okay, so I didn't realize that was one of his sub jobs because I didn't get him, so I'm not really looking into him anymore. I kind of passed, you know, the point of getting him at this point. But 2B definitely is a very viable choice. Orin, I do believe he will have the, you know, green ability. Support, Flurry Enhancement. That is the one you want from the Pugilist. So you could run Orin into that team. If you had Orin, 2B, and then Raldor and Winter Venera, you would probably get such a high combo build just from their ability hitting that enemy back that it would be a very good team composition. I highly recommend anyone who has this Pugilist job if you are running a striking strategy. Now, if you aren't running a striking strategy and you're running, say, oh, you should probably turn off Pugilist. We don't need that anymore. The water units are ones I would pass on if I was you. Dark units, it will be easy to see, you know, a Dwayne, Kane. Honestly, a lot of these units will work just fine. For a solid dark team, though, you want to. Zyza is still a very viable option. 120 Zyza is huge. Ruin Stern, of course, is always going to do a lot of damage. And since he doesn't have magic or physical, if you're just doing a dark combo and not worrying about the damage types, go with a Garvel. He does a lot of damage. Zyza, Garvel, Ruin, you know, Ruin Stern. Dwayne if you have him. If not, Kane will work super good too. All 4 of those would be a great dark team. Your light teams right now, you have some of the limited time people. Elsorella is huge for building combos and definitely a good choice. Cecil, he's okay. He's a good filler if you don't have a very good option. So those 2 are a decent enough one. Ramza does have this triple strike. You don't see a lot of him. Warrior of Light is a solid all-arounder tank. He still does an okay amount of damage. And his ultimate does have a good slash. Rob Horm 120 is where it's at though. So if I had to pick for a team, I would go Elsorella. Yeah, she's super good. Rob Horm would probably be first place for the light team though. Ramza and Warrior of Light, those 4 would be my pick for a good team. If you're going for a holy composition, Holy Strike, Sakura, Yuna, and there are a couple other choices. Earth as well will have Kilf, so she has holy spells as well, and is a decent mage. Where are the other mages? Dark. No real dark mages just yet. Mama Helena hasn't come to us. She will. Lightning. There is Sakal. I don't think he has Holy as a spell. I don't have him up and I don't use him. Actually, if I just look at his jobs. Staff Mage, Time Mage, Black Mage. No, he will not have Holy as a spell. Oh, a perfect choice. I don't know how I missed this in the light fucking field here. Oh, that's because she's not a light element. She's a wind element. A Yaka. That's who I was thinking of. A Yaka has Holy. Little Leela has access to pretty much everything because she's just a little monster. But she is a huge unit. If you're building a magic team, Little Leela, a Yaka, those two are great. And then a Yuna as well, plus a Sakura. Those four would work very well together as a magic team. And that's how I'd recommend building your magic teams. I'm kind of getting sidetracked by team building here instead of going over a lot of the issues. Well, I'll kind of jump back to this. So this is the raid, the Christmas raid. This is the item you're going to be getting from it. So Santa's clothing, it'll have 29 evade, which is the highest evade in the game right now. And the highest probably going forward for a long time. We're not going to see another item that has that kind of evade. And then also has 2 passives. And the light resist passive, massively useful. Because of the light meta currently going on. This is a must-get item for anybody who wants to survive against light units. And this is 2B's probably favorite outfit right now. And the only version you really want is the dodge version. The other 2 versions are kind of meh. They're not that good. The defense and spirit is like, it's 10 and 11, and you could get much better somewhere else. The vital barely gives you more hit point. The only reason you should choose a vital over this is if it had like 1,000 hit point for vital. And then it would be a viable choice. In my opinion, the vital and the shield are kind of trash compared to the massive evade you get from the dodge. So throw this on 2B, throw this on Venera. Especially Venera, because then she gets more light resist, which she is weak to. That is huge for her. So that's a huge amount of evade. And you'll also be getting the Galmia coat, which gives you 30% extra magic, great for any magic casters. And you'll be getting the Platinum Robe as another recipe rerun, which is good against missiles, and it's a decent amount of hit point on. So that is a very good set of items from this. All of them are armor, none of them are weapons. And of course, if you can't get the Santa's clothes this raid, the next raid will repeat them. That's how it normally goes. For 2 raids, it repeats. And then for a couple, as you see, you won't be getting them. They'll have something else somewhere along the line. All those other raids, I'll make another video later about. I can put a link in the description for this picture, which I probably will, so that you can check all these raids out on your own time. And of course, the bonus units will hop over this one again. The bonus units are going to be almost all of the winter units, except for Winter Victoria, who is a water unit. For some reason, the only water units they favor are Titus, Ramada, and Crazy. And I guess you could consider that the Crazy and the others would be used against the Golden Cactus. I think that's a stupid bonus unit because I just don't plan to ever use her in this. Unless you're just filling a role, giving her little extra water damage bonus to, say, Titus. I also think Ramada is a dumbass choice for this bonus. I just don't see her being good in this. Durando, I believe he actually does have Brawler and Pugilist or something as a job. No, not Pugilist, because we looked at that already. But he does have a fisting blunt type of damage, so he could be used in this raid. Mont, I'm going to be using in this raid, and Winter Venera, so I'll be getting a 70% bonus to my medals. Maybe. Because this is the JP version right now, and they do like to mess around with our medals a bit, so we might see some different units in here and some units taken out that we wish were still left in here. So you know, all the Final Fantasy characters are in here. Most of the winter units are in here. Those are the big bonus units. Eileen is an Earth Spear unit, and she is definitely a good choice if you don't have anyone else. Actually, let's close this now, because we're pretty good there. Work Visions units. Let's take a look at Eileen. Her jobs. Warrior, so she may very well have Body Slam as an ability. Not 100% if she does. She does not have any like counter punch abilities, so if you are running her and you do have 3 other punchers, I honestly would recommend taking off her reaction ability, because each one of those reactions would interrupt the combo and not help you out at all in that. Her ultimate is very useful for this though, because it does lower Earth resistance for 38%. So in a full Earth team, she's a very viable unit. Slash. So Body Slam. She does have Body Slam. That is a very useful ability, and you can use that in here. That is her only punching ability, but that's also the only ability Mont has right now, and the only reason I'm using him. And 2B has her just killer abilities, so that's why I'm using her. Let's just hop over. I'll kind of go over the vision cards and the espers you'll want to pick for this. I should actually make sure to switch this back to my Samsung decks. So let's see here, I'm in the builder right now, and these are going to be the vision cards I'm using. So Serpentine Onslaught, of course, has the damage limit up. If you're building that combo, you're going to want to use it. The rest of it doesn't really matter, but it does have high attack value and the damage limit up, so it's decent enough. And of course, Ifrit gives the 50% attack up. That's something you're going to want to have so you can do more damage, and then he has a good enough attack value on him. This one here is a card you must get if you plan to use Earth units, and the Aquatic Killer works perfect in this flan, because all flans are aquatic, and this one is thunder, so there are a few espers that specifically work well with that. This is the only other real strike type card, and I'm not so jazzed about having to use it, because it only gives me 20 strike attack up. It doesn't really give me much of anything else. Isn't really much of an other choice though. Other choice I could use is Celebrating Cross Paths. You know, all elemental attack up 15. That's a little bit more attack value. Some decks, some luck. Not that great of a card. None of these other cards would really work very well, except for if I had, say, Golem. Golem would be a decent enough choice, but as you can see, I do not have Golem. Earth unit lightning attack resist, so Golem would be the card I would pick if I had him up there. I do not. And another card I would possibly choose instead is Beloved Sidekick Chocobo, because the agility up is very useful in getting those bigger chains, gives some defense. The Wind Charm is just kind of whatever. Another one is the Final Fantasy Tactics agility card that gives 15% agility when maxed. You probably won't have that if you're newer to the game, so Beloved Sidekick Chocobo is an option. It is mythic rare. The shards aren't the easiest to come by though, so you might not have that one up. Now if you're running a pure magic team, instead of the dragon card, you're going to want to use the Mind Flare card because it has the damage limit up. And if you're using any of the pure dark teams, or pure water teams, or pure whatever light teams, you have a plethora of specific cards to pick from that will work perfect for those, like Bahamut. Perfect for a light magic team. Like, you can't go wrong with picking a Bahamut. And I may very well just decide to build a pure magic team to just smack down this Esper. Or actually, it's not even an Esper, it's a Flan. But I'm going to try the Strikeout first, because I think that will be easy enough to do with the team I do have, this 4-person team here. Should be able to get through it. At least my biggest problem I think I'll face is I only have one +5 Kaiser Knuckles. They might have one come up in the shop here soonish. So I might do that. The only other options I have are like a +3 Cat's Claw, which isn't very good. Might be able to make a +4 version of that. And a TMR for 99 attack that was from a Mythic Rare Fister. Also, not really the best choice, but it's better than +3 Cat's Claw that's just set up as garbage. Since it's mostly a physical unit, you're going to want more defense or hit point if you don't have very good items to throw on your people. And you can always just equip something that gives a lot more hit point. I can definitely use some more of these platinum robes, so I'm looking forward to that. So defense up 18, that's good enough. It's mostly just for the defense on that one. Agility up items are something you definitely want, because you want that turn order to come around. And some of the Fisters aren't the fastest, like agility 68 isn't huge for these units, and Mont doesn't have huge amount of agility, he's pretty slow. So if you can throw those agility items onto these people, it does make a significant difference. So even just the agility up TMRs, so I believe Titus's boots give 5, bells give a bunch. As for who should get the bells out of the group and should get, Bulldoze's TMR can be equipped by Mont. That only gives, I believe, a small amount, like probably 8 AP to start with. However, it's not a bad choice because Mont's Body Slam does not need a lot of AP, right? It needs 15. So if you're getting 8 a turn every 2 turns, you can do another one of these Body Slams. And if he spends 1 turn just buffing himself up, oh, what does he have for buffs just on his own? I don't think he has very much. That might be the big flaw with Body Slam Mont. He might not have very good AP generation. So the Oldoa's gives... It does give 15 AP to start, and then you get the regen going on afterwards. That might be good enough to keep him going for a little while. He'll probably spend 1 turn running over to her, generating that AP. I'll worry about that once I see the map and the layout. It shouldn't be a problem though. 2B, I don't think I'll have to worry about her, you know, AP generation. She'll have a good chunk of abilities. Yeah, they're not going to be the worst. Because most of her Pugilist abilities shouldn't be very high cost, 14, 18. Yeah, and I can level her up more and get her more abilities. I need to do that. She shouldn't have an issue. Winter Venera shouldn't have much of a problem either. I can even set her sub-job as... well, probably not a Spellblade for that. But actually maybe, just because it has higher AP or TP cost spells, she can just throw one of those on, even if it's useless. Now, we can, of course, equip specific TMRs to help the whole team out, such as Khalid Moon, which would give Lunar Verve, which, if your team is starting close together, it gives a large amount of TP, and then it raises attack and magic by 30%, and AP generation, I believe by 50%, you'll get 50% more AP while you're under this effect for 3 turns. That's a pretty decent equipment. It of course doesn't have any defense on it. That is the downside to that, but that's okay. If you are suffering from damage a lot, you could throw something like either Steel Maiden's Necklace, which gives a little bit of defense for 3 turns. But you could also throw Yuna's Clothing, which will give Protection Shell for 3 turns as well. There are several TMRs that would be a good choice. You definitely want bells on one of your units. Probably the one that will be using the highest cost AP stuff, which I believe will be my Zyza here. With her final abilities, Debilitating Fist, lowers units attack resist, that's 26 AP. I honestly think that is my highest cost ability. So she will be probably getting my bells, because you want her using this one. a lot. It hits so hard and it'll work so well at getting that unit able to be killed. So I talked quite a bit of time for that. Let's talk about the espers you want. These are clearly not the right espers for this team. The best bet is if you do have level 99s, the just pure stat value of these are huge. So you could very well use any of the 99 ability, the espers you have. Special notes, Tetrahede Sylphid does have 25. I believe it's Aquatic Killer, so she will help raise your damage by 25% against this enemy. Glacial also has Aquatic Killer, I believe, for a lower rate though, like 15 or 20 or something like that, which isn't too bad, but she is definitely more for a pure ice team. That is definitely to use on your ice team if you're going with full ice. The other one to really take note of, I believe, is Titan, and he has, it's I believe 15 Thunder Eater, 15% Thunder Eater, so he will raise your damage against this flan because it is a Thunder type. So those three espers are very useful in this fight. Glacial less so, just because it's more pure for that Thunder team, right? Now, you definitely want to put on whoever you have built up resonance with for this, but you can start building some resonance for some of the ones. Lamaya Queen has punching up. She doesn't have the highest attack or magic value, however. Okay, I did have it set to this. I just had to double check that I was on the right screen here. Lamaya Queen and Malboro have it, so they're okay. I would just choose your best resonanced Esper though for this. And the other three I mentioned are all good choices.